I've got the. Let me stop share.
Fuck you.
Okay, lifttheband.net. What the fuck is that? Is that an Asian guy on his? Do you have an Asian guy bending over? Is that an Asian man bent over? And is that somebody humping him in the back? Like, what am I looking at right now?
Fucking Charlie Hustle, man.
Who the fuck's Charlie Hustle?
Pete Rose.
That's Pete Rose?
Yeah. It's a sketch of Pete Rose. Lift the band.
That's the worst sketch of Pete Rose I've ever seen. It looks like a sumo guy in the middle.
Pete Rose. It looks just like him.
Can I talk about John Riggins for a second? And
can I talk about Pete Rose after you talk about John Riggins?
Do you know that I met Pete Rose in Vegas, which I find to be fucking hilarious? After he gets he gets busted for gambling on himself, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I meet him in fucking Vegas. I have picture. I had pictures. I don't know where they are, but of Pete Rose and I in Vegas. A long time ago, which I thought was hilarious because he's in trouble.
That is hilarious.
Go ahead with Pete Rose. Go ahead and continue.
Or do you want to talk about John Riggins first?
Well, but we're on Pete Rose right now, baby. Let's fire away.
Pete Rose. So you just said that Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame,
without question, without even a second shadow of a doubt, because he didn't bet on himself. He bet on himself.
I'm gonna keep your opinion aside from mine.
Okay.
And for so many years, I have been fuck yeah, Pete Rose, goddamn Hall of Fame. That's crazy. You know what I mean? He didn't bet on himself. Blah,
okay.
Blah, blah.
You had my old opinion, and you developed a new opinion. I like that. So where did your opinion go? New. I like this because I like to learn. I'm curious.
It didn't.
Okay.
But what it did do was I asked myself, why defend your case? Why do you feel that? And the truth is, I don't have a case. It's just, I don't know all the facts about what went down. And so I would like to know why I think that Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, so you've come full circle back to curiosity as to why you feel that way.
Yeah, because I can't defend it.
Here's the way here's the thing. What he did as a manager shouldn't impact. First of all, what he did as a manager is debatably awesome. Like, you bet on your team, but as a player, that's a separate issue. So it's sort of like, okay, you do your whole career as a player, and then after you've retired. So let's pretend Pete Rose retired instead of becoming a manager, where he's still part of MLB. He retires, and let's say he decides he wants to, do what a lot of athletes do. They start a brand new life, and they become, maybe they become controversial figures. Maybe they become advocates of social justice. Maybe at some point they do something controversial, because everything's controversial. What Pete Rose did on the field as a player has nothing to do with what he did as a manager. And as a manager, you can still say he bet on his own fucking team. Yes, he tried to run up the score. Running up a score in baseball is not an easy thing. It's not like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking jack up 3 extra runs real quick. Like, what are you gonna leave your pitcher in for an extra 7 pitches because you know what I'm saying? And
yeah, So if by your argument,
you should separate.
You're saying that
Rose is a player, Pete Rose is a manager. Correct. It's like being retired from your baseball career, for which you would be. He's not being judged for the Hall of Fame as a manager. As a manager, he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Where does it say that those two things are separate?
Well, it's a separate job. It's a separate job. It's 2 different jobs. It's like you were a great quarterback.
Is a manager technically on the roster?
I don't know that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It's still players different than everybody fucking knows a player is different than a manager. You know what I mean? Manager's not going out and hitting fucking 3,000 RBIs in their career. Whatever the hell ridiculous number of shit that Pete Rose did. He's not diving first into home plate with his beautiful lock.
When Pete When Pete Rose finally apologized, why don't you think they let him in?
Because he apologized. You never fucking apologize. Never. No matter what you do, unless it's just horrific, apologies are like putting blood in the water. The chum is there. And the fucking jackals we talked about earlier, they're just going to come attack you. Apologies are viewed as good things to a certain segment of society, and that those people are good people, and those people should be praised for actually accepting an apology and being like, wow, that person apologized. I'm one of those people. You're one of those people. I accept apologies, but there's jackals that just want to see people fucking fail. And those people, that's why you don't apologize, because those jackals have a lot of power. Those are the people on Twitter that have nothing to do and no lives, that just want to tell you you're a piece of shit because everybody else is telling them that they should think you're a piece of shit. So that's why you don't apologize. It's their piranha, like human piranha. So when Pete Rose did that, that was probably even before the Twitter age, but he still got those jackals. They came for him. They came for him hard. And he does not deserve that. The guy is actually a really fucking good dude. It was a fucking all balls out baseball player and a bad motherfucker on that field, and gave 100%. And absolutely should not be shunned for what he did outside of his career. And it's a fucking travesty. And by the way, we're listening to the song "The Hurricane" right now, which is another travesty about a boxer. So Bob Dylan's "Hurricane" song.
Yeah,
you know the song, but again,
I do.
These travesties, these athlete travesty songs. You know, Pete Rose is still doing well. He's going to be able to eat, but the fact that he can't sit where he's supposed to